Well, new rig. Why not? I've never had a plow on a big red, and one came up. So I was like, why not? This thing's pretty sick. I wasn't really expecting a whole lot. It was going to be more just for messing around or something, of course, because you got to do that. But yeah, I just plowed uphill. That's pretty wild. It pushes a lot. Like this is this berm over here, you know, this is plow truck work. This snow here was wet, and so it's pretty hard, I guess what I'm saying. Last night we had about an inch or inch and a half powder maybe on top, but yeah, these are pretty heavy clumps. You know, borderline iceage. So, of course, downhill's great. Got gravity, but I'm going uphill with a rear-wheel drive, two-wheel drive rig. I mean, I've had plows, you know, on 4x4 four-wheelers. Depending on the reverse setup, they're kind of cumbersome. They don't turn real tight or anything. This thing's nimble. It's really nimble. And it's really getting traction. I'll probably put screws in the tires so when it ices up. Because I was expecting like when I'm hitting a berm like that, it wants to shove you, you know. Somehow this is staying straight. I don't feel any push. And like I say, this is hitting some pretty hard snow. And then, of course, you know, I've tried mowers, you know, you put a blade on a mower. Well, they're worthless. The only thing they have going for them is you got, like, if it's a hydrostat, easy to go forward and back, but they're worthless. Unless it's 4x4, four-wheel drive. You can get somewhere on this fast. Like if you want to go somewhere else and plow, you get there quick. The ride is fantastic. I don't know. They got it bellied out well. Like the front shocks are not even, like, I'll jack it up here. Look at it, it squats a little, but you still have, let's see if I can show it. You still got travel. You still got suspension travel. The ride's great. I'd say the only thing you really gotta watch is when you're blading, this arm right here will kind of get the bouncing sometimes. And so keep your knee tucked into the tank. Because you can see your knees right here. If you lean it out, it's going to be whack-a-moleing it. The mechanics is pretty sweet. You just lift that a little bit. They got this to where it cams over. So you don't even have to do really anything with this handle on the retrieve. It locks out. And then all you got to do is pull back a little bit and pull this up, and it wants to drop. It's awesome. And that's not just because I love three-wheelers. It just made plowing, like, really fun. My thoughts are, like, even, you know, we got the main plow on the truck to do the majority. This is a detailer, of course. And then I'm thinking on trails. Like, there's some trails down at the creek. Depending on the snow, like, you'll get lit up. This thing will groom real well. You know, like after a couple passes, it really packs it in with the tires and stuff. And then there's your trail. And then just scooch in a little bit. And then you get, you know, like a groomed trail. Like they float real well. But if the snow got severe enough, I could just leave the blade up. And it's, you know, it's like a couple inches up. Just blast that down. And then you could crawl right up that. Because you're only working with a couple inches of snow. And groom that. I don't know. We'll have to see how that works. This whole rig, yeah, it came up on Marketplace. Yeah, Marketplace was like the worst invention for me, but I was kind of more or less just after the plow. It was secondary to sitting in the pictures, and of course it came with it. I wasn't expecting the three-wheeler to be operational, and we pulled it off the guy's truck and he started up, and I was kind of like, whoa. Because for the price, paid $1,200 for everything. And look at this, got the speedometer drive on it. No cable or speedo, but I got a 350X with one of these on it too. So I wasn't, it's got a blown out right rear. Anybody's got one for a reasonable price, I'd probably be interested. Looking for OEM, doesn't have to be great. Yeah, I just don't want to pay as much for that fender as I did for all this, you know. Let's see. Yeah, I wasn't expecting, again, you know, there's always something. So the guy even disclosed it. He showed me, well, when I got there, a couple hour drive, he said, this plug's missing. End of the crank plug or cam. So I thought that was a little weird. And he said he tried to glue or silicone a quarter over that hole. It gets too hot up here for that stuff. There's no way, but it didn't work. Let's say that. So it was leaking oil out of that, you know, especially after it gets to temp. So what I did was I'd pull that cap off, valve cover, take a look-see. And what did I find? Well, someone had put 2 O-rings in there, you know, because this is like a double shouldered bore there. And it wasn't enough to seal it. Because I got a parts big red. I was going to just pull that plug out of it. Well, as soon as I got that valve cover off, I was, you know, studying it. Cam was wiped. It wasn't the journals. It was actually on this end, you know, in the rounds. I'm assuming that it couldn't build enough oil pressure to keep that satisfied there. It was finding the path of least resistance coming out here. So it transferred steel to the head and the valve cover. Not so much the valve cover, but the head. And so, yeah, I pulled the head and the cam. So the cam's junk, the head's bad. So I pulled that off the parts rig, put it on here, you know, no big deal. Stuff's just sitting there anyway. Yeah, this thing's sick. This is off the parts rig too, 86. Other than that, it's actually in decent shape. It's another one of those that's sat out a lot. Did some stitching on the front fender. Plastic welding. It's in good shape. It's got the crackage. Fading. If it wasn't for this is my type of rig. All day long. It's clean. I guess what my version of clean is, it's not hacked on and all that. It's missing the rear brake. Got a seat cover coming and the rear handbrake cable coming. And then after that, she's golden. Everything else is good. Lights work. Tank's got a little rust in it. Might try to get that a little cleaned up. Yeah, everything works. That's about all I know. I guess, yeah, there's probably other videos on this, but I'm kind of blown away, really. That's only speaking from simple fact that I've tried other things. And you know, when you try them, you're always like, yeah, but that's a pain. Or that doesn't work. Or so far, I mean, within reason, you got to be practical. This ain't going to do like heavy duty work, but for a detailer, this thing's fantastic. Because I got snowblowers and stuff too, and the same thing goes. You got to have a light one for the light snow, and then you got to have a heavy one for the real heavy stuff. And they both work great, but they got their application, you know? Like, snowblower is probably the best because it blows it way the heck away. But they're slow. Huh. What brand do you suppose my snowblowers are? Yep. Same brand. I'll fire up a little more. Yeah, it's got swing-a-ding on the blade. I'm not sure if the springs are stock, because I wasn't sure. My son looked it up, and he said this is a Cycle Country plow. I figured it was Honda, but just because it seems like I've had some Cycle Country plows, and they're not really that great anymore. This one's pretty dang solid. All right, let's try it a little more. And what's cool is, like, you can kind of feather the height. So, like, you start getting a little boggy, you can just pull back on this handle and just start lifting your blade, and you can just feather the snow off, you know? So you aren't leaving big bumps and stuff. But this is the part I'm talking about. You gotta keep your knee all the way over here. This thing will whack the heck out of it. Sucks. Guess we'll do a downhill pass. Like I say, easy, but this is first gear, just creeping. I'll take a good bite. The angle, it's decent. It kind of spills out a little bit. You know, it's starting to pack, but you're pushing into the pile too. If you angled it more, then you're losing some of your swath. And I think it would probably then maybe push it more, the front end around. That's the weirdest thing. I can't believe it's not just shoving the front end wherever. I honestly was expecting it to kind of be worthless. But I wanted to give her a whirl. Look at that. That's a lot of frickin' snow. Yeah, and it gets really good traction. They maintain the weight under the belly really well. So it really, you don't feel like you're nose heavy. A lot of times, like, well, for instance, like a smaller lawnmower with a plow on it, the ass end's just like dancing around. That's why I gotta put all the suitcase weights or wheel weights on them. And then they just don't get any traction at all if it's two-wheeler. So you're buying all kinds of stuff to counter something, you know? That's even, they even belly it underneath them, but this thing's weird. It's just, it's working. Heck with it, let's go. This is first gear. Yeah, it'll push it second, pretty easy. I mean, she's just not even working. If they aren't stock springs for this, like, they work really well. You know, the point where it buckles. This is crazy. Like, I'm getting down to dirt. I'm getting down to the gravels. Oh, that was a big one. See if it'll come out of here. The good thing is too, like, I'm thinking if, you know, you get stuck, you know how big red is. It does not take much to move them around. You just horse it around. It's got a couple little baby shoes under it. So the, you know, the moldboard's not just directly on the dirt. Yeah, see that arm doing its thing? That's the guy's patella right in half, probably. Patella. That's a lot of snow. Yeah, I'm giving it credit. Look at that. If nothing else, I'm down to the gravels for the vehicles. Because this road, I mean, it could get friggin' hairy. You know, everybody stays in the beaten path. Next thing you know, it's solid like wreck. Whoop. Reverse. Anyway, that's my rundown and take on it. Get your hands on one, you got a big red. I'd say gather it up. This one's got a little usage on it, but you know, I know how to weld stuff. I'll just keep her going. There's nothing on here that's too complex. You can make anything for it pretty easily. Alright, I'll try to spin it around here and we'll go uphill a little bit. There's that feather thing. And I don't mind that because that had gravels in it. Feather and gravel. Then you let the sun work that gravel into the snow. Yeah, the bike's there. The trike's awesome. No oil leaks, no strip drain plugs, great compression. This is going uphill. It's getting down into the dirt. That is crazy. It might be somewhat of a little detailer for trails too, for dirt. Well, there was this limit, but look at that. That's wet, heavy snow uphill. Shove him off. And then we're going to do a little I'll do a little bit of just traveling with it. Like you wouldn't want to be going, 30 mile an hour. Get to bouncing and dig that plow in. That might suck, but yeah, if you had a snow plowing business, like a kid, this is your unit. Work the neighborhood, you're just flying up and down the cul-de-sac, going to one driveway to the next, and getting to ride a three-wheeler while you're making money. It rides fantastic. Plow's not all bouncing around. Front suspension's still working. Look at that. Pretty cool. Yeah, no regrets. Yeah, just thought I'd give you guys my take on it again. Because I'll use it on the deck here. When we get some snow again. Yeah, it was third gear. Climbing uphill. Alright. Well, I think seat cover's in. For something. Some seat covers in. Maybe it's for the rancher. Anyway, I gotta get to the post office. I got more parts than that, but all right. Check you later.